Let's get into this conversation now. Parliament has heard explosive claims against some of South Africa's magistrates, from non-existing court proceedings, threats to journalists, and recruiting informants for intelligence units. These are just some of the charges faced by people entrusted with upholding the country's laws. Joining me now for this conversation is Member of Parliament and a member of the Justice Portfolio Committee, Advocate Glynnis Brytenbach. Advocate, good evening to you and thank you for your time. I've outlined just some of what these magistrates, at least some of them, are charged with. Can I get from you the reaction when you sat in that Justice Portfolio Committee and listening to these allegations? Surely this is shocking.
Yes, good evening, Kole. Yes, indeed, of course they're shocking. Magistrates hold a position of the highest integrity, the highest demands of good faith, and they sit, as you say, in judgment of other people on a daily basis. So one simply can't have a situation where magistrates are occupying their time with these types of things. Of course, everybody is entitled to be presumed innocent until they're proven guilty, and you must always bear that in mind. And so some of these matters that we discussed in the Portfolio Committee, the magistrates have not yet been found guilty. They've been subjected to disciplinary proceedings which have found that the charges against them have been proven, but they're not necessarily been found guilty in a criminal sense of the word.
Yeah.
But what was outrageous is, apart from the matters that you've mentioned, of course, there's a suggestion that a magistrate was running a Ponzi scheme from the bench. Another magistrate has been found in a disciplinary hearing to have fulfilled all the elements of rape, but being convicted in a disciplinary of misconduct. But what is outrageous is not only that these things are happening, but what really outraged me and made me exceptionally angry is the fact that within the Magistrates Commission there were debates about whether or not these people charged with these types of misconduct should be suspended or not. And that's simply not a conversation that one can be having.
I've got a
magistrate being charged with misconduct of these types of misconduct should, of course, not be able to sit on the bench and in judgment of other people. It makes a complete mockery of justice.
We'll talk about the Magistrates Commission in a moment. You've cited one or two examples. One that really stole the show for me was a quote in a News 24 article where a magistrate tried to manufacture evidence which did not exist. This was all designed to acquit an accused person. What is expected of a judicial officer in the execution of his or her duties?
Well, a judicial officer must execute his duties to the degree of the highest degree of good faith, remain objective completely, never ever descend into the arena, and by that I mean never, take sides, not for the defense, not for the prosecution. So a magistrate sits on the bench, elevated above the arena where all of these events are taking place. He must apply his mind to the facts that are presented. He must apply his mind more specifically to the facts that are proven and admissible. And to those facts he must apply the law and come to a decision about guilt or innocence. There's absolutely no room for any judicial officer to manufacture evidence for or against anybody, or to embellish evidence for or against anybody, or to minimize evidence for or against anybody. They're to remain totally objective. They're elevated above the arena, and there's a good reason for that. So, magistrates are required to demonstrate the highest degree of good faith.
You've already mentioned the Magistrates Commission. That's the body, or should we say the watchdog, that is responsible for taking corrective action against the conduct of magistrates. Where are they?
Well, a very good question indeed. I'm not sure that there's an answer. The Magistrates Commission is made up in a fashion similarly to what the Judicial Conduct Committee is made up for judges. It's a big body, I understand that, but honestly that these types of conversations can be taking place where the presenter of this report to the Portfolio Committee tells us that there was a strong debate about whether or not to suspend some of these magistrates, and that there were, in some instances, the decision was very close. Only one vote, the matter turning only on one vote. I don't know how this is possible.
Wow.
If somebody has been found guilty of misconduct and meets all the elements of rape twice, that there can be any debate about his suitability to sit on the bench beggars the imagination.
Well, if the Magistrates Commission cannot be trusted to do its job, where does that leave the reputation of the entire judiciary?
Well, the Magistrates Commission, I think, can be trusted to do its job. It's just taking terribly long. They're very slow. And the Magistrates Commission has recognized that there are serious problems, and so they are trying hard to reform themselves. They've appointed a new chair from the bar, so clearly the relevant advocate is a woman, is cleaning house. She has outlined what it is that she has in mind and how she intends to improve the process. So I think she should be given the opportunity to do so. She presented this report, I think, clearly, objectively, warts and all, not trying to hide anything. So clearly demonstrates that there's an acknowledgement of an issue, and that issue will be addressed, and she will return to Parliament in the not too distant future to tell us how this program of rejuvenation is doing. So I have enough faith in the Magistrates Commission to think that it will rectify itself and reform itself and continue to do its job just more efficiently. Yeah.
Let me sway your attention away from the conduct of some magistrates now and talk about the suspended Judge President of the Western Cape, John Hlophe. This coming Wednesday, it's expected that the impeachment proceedings could go ahead in Parliament against him. Do you think that that vote will go ahead in Parliament, given that he has gone to court, this is the Constitutional Court, to try and stop this parliamentary vote?
Well, he's brought an application for an interdict before the Western Cape High Court. He has to approach the Constitutional Court in order to deal with the impeachment proceedings, and that he won't be able to do before Wednesday. So the matter is on the program for Parliament to deal with, for the National Assembly to deal with on Wednesday, and there's absolutely no impediment currently to it going ahead.
Yeah.
The suspended Judge President Hlophe has brought an application in the Western Cape High Court, which I believe will be heard on Tuesday. But in the absence of any interdict, there's no impediment to the National Assembly dealing with the matter. And in fact, it is my personal view that the National Assembly must deal with the matter. Judge President Hlophe has honestly over the past years done nothing but bring the judiciary into disrepute. He's done a huge amount of damage to the judiciary and specifically to the judiciary in the Western Cape. He needs to, we need to deal with this matter as a matter of urgency. Yeah. He has tried every trick in the book to get the matter deferred, postponed, dismissed. None of them have failed. This is his last resort, and now he's the creator of his own urgency. Now suddenly it's urgent. He's had months to bring this. This is nothing new. We've known for months that this matter was going to be on the program on Wednesday afternoon. Now to bring an urgent application on a Tuesday before the Wednesday is creating your own urgency, and with my respectful submission that the matter should be struck off.
Yeah. It has been described, Advocate Breytenbach, as a precedent-setting matter that Parliament will preside over, given that no judge in a democratic South Africa has ever been, or at least faced, impeachment proceedings. How do you think it will all unfold? Do you think he'll survive, basically, I suppose, is the question.
Well, I sincerely hope that all the members of the National Assembly will apply their minds objectively to the set of facts that are before them. It's been a long and tiring journey. It's been played out in the news, which has been very damaging, again, for the Western Cape High Court and also for the judiciary. The Constitution makes very clear provision for impeachment proceedings against a judge, and we have followed that proceeding to the letter. The drafters of the Constitution clearly foresaw that there was a possibility that judges could, make themselves guilty of misconduct, which is what Judge Hlophe did, and most egregiously so, and in my view, and therefore, I think that the members of the National Assembly will fully understand the importance of this matter, fully understand the gravity of the matter, and will apply their minds very carefully. Certainly in the Justice Portfolio Committee, if that sentiment is anything to go by, then I do think that Judge Hlophe may well have problems on Wednesday afternoon.
Sure. Advocate Glynnis Brytenbach, thank you very much for your time, a member of Parliament and specifically a member of the Justice Portfolio Committee.